We have the Kosame, right? Well, hopefully I'm saying that right. It is an EI spade design, Stonewashed 154 cm, and Stonewashed titanium with Jade G10 inlays on this one. So let's see what this one is all about. We haven't checked out a Kansept knife here in a minute. So let's see. We got the paperwork right here with the wiping cloth, right? And all that typical stuff. We have good old silica gel right there. And here is the nice Kansept branded pouch as usual. And oh man, oh guys, listen, this one's gonna be an epic one. I hope you guys are ready because yeah, this one's gonna be something special. Go ahead and make some room here, give this thing the spotlight it deserves. But oh my goodness, guys, ooh, take a look at this. This is an interesting design right here. I think I've maybe seen this one on Instagram a time or two, and I'm just excited to finally check it out here in person. It should be a pretty epic knife. So for starters here, let's kind of cut to the chase. We have different cutouts here on the titanium handles, which is interesting. Then we have the G10. I'm like, where are the G10 inlays at? But we do have the G10 inlays from the inside. So you can actually see the G10, Jade G10 from here. So that's an interesting little touch right there. And then they carry that into the blade. All right, so you can see those cutouts here on the blade as well, on both sides. That's pretty interesting. And of course, bee blasted, or they say stonewashed titanium on here. All right, definitely looks pretty nice and contour on the edges. It's going to be a button lock, plunger lock, button lock, it looks like, and a flipper tab here for deployment. But no flipper on the tab, by the way, just so you know. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get this thing deployed. And bam, oh man, that is, guys, one wicked blade right there. That is what we call this sheep's foot, reverse tanto, right? Back flip, double slash with cherry on top. Whatever you want to call it, get the blade police out here. But I'm going to get a zoom in here, 2x zoom to really check this thing out in its full glory, guys. This one's got to be one of the wickedest blades out there, right? Super kind of deadly looking blade if you ask me. That's looking pretty epic. I mean, obviously it's going to be really good for EDC, for drug cuts, utility cuts, all of those cuts like that, opening up packages. We do have a straight edge, so no curvature, recurve, or otherwise. We are going to have a flat grind on here. That stonewash is looking really nice. 154 cm steel. Of course, Kansept always prints their model number on the blade for some reason. That's how they always done it. There's a designer logo right there and the Kosame. And hopefully I'm saying that right. So let's kind of check the close. Ooh, yeah, that is a very smooth close there, as you would expect. And honestly, normally I would have some issue with the back flipper here not having any jimping. I mean, I feel like it would have been nice if they went the extra mile to add a few lines of jimping there. That would have been nice. But, see, I slip, you know, maybe ever so often, but not as often, because the flipper stands out actually quite a bit, right? It's not one of those very tiny flippers you can barely get a hold of, and then it has no jimping. But at least the flipper tab, you know, protrudes out enough for you to have, you have a little bit more flipping real estate, if you know what I mean. Of course, you can deploy with the button lock as well, and you'll have at least two deployment options, right? Using the button and using the flipper. Now, it is an ambidextrous style knife with the button, right? Plunger lock, button lock. Why they didn't make it reversible, I don't know. As far as the pocket clip goes, it's going to be about this much deep carry, and it looks like, yeah, there's an actual cutout on the titanium for the pocket clip, so it won't easily reverse on the other side. We do have quite a bit of milling going on here for weight reduction, as you can see on the inside. You can also get a better look at the G10 scales in there and also what's holding them, right? Got some screws there. And checking the ergos, yeah, that's definitely one thing this knife has going for it. So you get a little bit of extra grip here with the design. Everything else is nice and comfortable. A little bit of curvature back here as the handle winds up a bit. I have average size hands, not the biggest or smallest of hands, and I'm able to get a full purchase. So that also feels good, right? Full 4-finger grip on here. If you have bigger hands, you should be pretty okay. But the lack of finger choil, yeah, that will make it so that you really can't forward choke too much. That flipper is going to work as a finger guard, and you are pretty much locked and loaded, ready to go. Now, the sign right here, this is going to work as jimping as well. I just noticed that. So it's pretty cool, right? Kind of has some jimping there on the blade based on the design itself. That is pretty unique. I want to say I have probably seen maybe one other knife with this whole diagonal sort of oval shape, you know, cuttings on the blade or whatnot. And that is, of course, the RSKAOS, right? Kind of brings me back this being the first knife that I saw that in. So when you open it, right, you kind of get something similar. All the lines are going the same way, except you don't have the lines turn into jimping here. Also has an opening hole for fair measure. This one has no thumb studs, no opening hole, but again, not necessarily a copy or anything, just an observation, because I know generic design lines like that are pretty common, so nothing wrong with that. By the way, ball bearings right here, pretty smooth, great action. Check that out. It feels really good. And lock up, right, pretty solid there. No movement side to side, up and down, right, left and right. And yeah, needless to say, as I'm sitting here kind of fidgeting with it, somebody's gonna be like, Miguel, put the knife down. Want to see the knife, take some pictures. Well, I mean, the point I'm trying to make is that it is fidget friendly, as you can see. And yes, I want to go ahead and put it down here so you guys can see it here compared to some other of the typical knives here on the channel. There's your MSI. I'll definitely giving the MSI a run for its money. Here's the stitch. All right, so check that out. Those are going to be a little bit longer size-wise. Here's the Spyderco PM2. Here is the Para 3. Check that out right there. Very comparable to the PM2, right? Larger than the Para 3. Here's the Demko AD 20.5. Here is the Kunwu Chad. This guy's going to be somewhere actually right in the middle, I think, between these two. A little bit bigger than the AD 20.5, shorter than the Kunwu Chad by a bit. Also, my kind of geometry right here. I love me a good Warncliffe blade, sheepsfoot blade, any day of the week. So definitely my cup of tea. On the budget end of things, we got the Civivi Vision FG right there. It's going to be a tad bit shorter. And here is the Militaw from Kizer. Very comparable, maybe a hair longer, right? But definitely in the same ballpark. And last but not least, there's the Vosteed Porcupine. And here is the CJRB Pyrite Light, right? All these are highly recommendable EDC budget knives and some premium knives as well. All linked down below if you guys want to check them out. Prices, availability, and variants, and hopefully you own some of these as well to give you an idea. If you want to learn more about any of these knives, just check out the knife name Miguel EDC on the YouTube search box, and you'll find those videos right away. Some quick stats here for the knife nerds. We got 8-inch knife. I've been seeing a lot of 8-inch knives recently here on the channel. Maybe that's the new wave, but yeah, it's a good size for EDC. 3.5-inch blade. We have 3.5-inch cutting path. And the handle is going to be a little bit over 4.5, maybe like 4.6 inches or so. Getting a quick read here on the blade stock thickness coming in at 0.11, which is a little sliceier than the 0.12 average here in the channel. Thickest portion of the handle is 0.51 or 0.50. That is the average, right? Half an inch. That is the average here in the channel. And last but not least, we'll get a quick read here on the weight on this guy. Now it is titanium, it does have some weight to it. I want to say closer to 4 ounces, 3.7, 4 ounces, 4-ish. Here we go, moment of truth. All right, how about 3.8, all right, 3.8, that's what I'm talking about. 108 grams from my friends across the pond. And yeah, not a bad weight at all for EDC. Definitely pretty decent weight, not too light, not too heavy. Absolutely my kind of sauce, if you know what I mean. And I know what you're probably thinking, Miguel, it's a plunge lock, button lock. Aren't you going to do a whack test? Okay, well, listen, fam, I got you. Let me bring in the subscribe stick of truth. And yeah, you know what to do with that subscribe button. But here we go. Let's see how this guy holds. Now, I've explained how the plunge lock, button lock works plenty of times here in the channel. But you basically have a cylinder right there on the spring tension. It goes into this cutout right here on the blade. And that's how the, blade stays in place. And it also acts as a detent for a lack of a detent ball. Now, much different than a button-operated liner lock, which is what this Vosteed Porcupine here is. This one is the stronger one of the two button locks. But let's go ahead and test this guy. Here we go, right? Plunge lock, button lock. The Kosame from Kansept, right? Couple whacks. I'm going to clear my hand here from the blade path. Okay, so far so good. Couple more times. Okay, and that's enough to really hurt my ears, so I know I'm doing it at a decent strength, right? I'm not gonna take 3 steps back and then bam, right? Like that defeats the point. Like I'm not gonna be hanging off a cliff or anything like that with this knife, right? Like a Rambo movie or something. But yeah, definitely passes the whack test, right? And as a plunger lock, button lock, actually feels pretty good. No button lash, right, or stick of any kind. Absolutely love that. Pretty fidgety. At least 2 deployment options, and then we have that deadly, very wicked looking blade right there, which I absolutely love. That's looking like $1,000,000 Really, really nice looking geometry. Draw cards, utility cards all day. And by the way, this little drop right here on the blade really helps for, you know, placing your finger up there, right? That kind of feels very, very natural. I'm digging that. And overall, I mean, it looks like a pretty good EDC knife with the premium bits. And this one's available in many different variants. So if the monochrome doesn't speak to you as much, then yeah, definitely check out the other models, because there's definitely plenty to choose from, guys. Let me know your thoughts on the Kosame, guys. What do you guys think about it? Right? What do you like about it, love about it? Is there anything you dislike about it? Let me know. Let's hang out in the comment section down below. And of course, this knife and every other knife you saw in this video will be linked in the description and pinned comments. So definitely check it out. It does help out the channel when you use those links, but that's entirely up to you and at zero extra cost. Hope you guys really enjoyed this one. If you made it to the end, you're the real MVP. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one. Either this one or this one. Peace.